So I got in here yesterday and I changed the oil and a couple other things just to give the engine a once over to make sure when we take it down in the water it should run good, but the trim is broken. When I hit the button, the motor runs, but the outdrive doesn't move up and down. And so I think it's just seized in here. A whole new setup is like $1,000, so I'm gonna take it apart and see if I can fix it first before we just throw money at it. It is a boat, and so throwing money at it is kind of the thing to do. But I'm gonna see if I can save a buck and take it apart and fix it. So we're gonna try to take it out, bring it into the shop, and then look at it from there. Alright, this top piece comes off, and so then I can get just the hydraulic cylinder, or I guess it's not a hydraulic cylinder, but I can take off the thingamabob doohickey that doesn't have any wires on it. And this one? No, I don't think so. In typical boat project fashion, it is not working, not coming out. So I tried to do everything else. I don't know why, but now we're resorting to liquid wrench. I guess I just don't want to get it everywhere, but see if this break it loose, spray it and let it sit for a while. Liquid wrench ended up not working too well, so I asked around and found out there's this stuff called Kroil. For those of you who don't live in South Arkansas, Kroil is spelled K-R-O-I-L. O-I-L normally spells oil for most people, but down here in South Arkansas we say oil. Anyways, once I got the Kroil on there, it actually finally broke it loose. That stuff is stupid expensive, but it does work. Oh my gosh. Golly. So this little cap right here, this I think is what caused me to break everything. So everything online said this comes out through that tube, but that was wrong for me. I had to take this off. Once I took this off, then I was able to pull it out of the boat. So I think this was a Volvo 280 outdrive. So if you have something similar, and I think this one was made in '99, if you're having trouble getting it out, you just got to take this piece off. I got lucky. Mine was actually loose. I was able to reach up there with my hand and get it off, because it's going to be really hard to get some tools up there to get it off. But take that off, then it'll make removing this a heck of a lot easier. I'm gonna let that sit, see if this coil can get down that shaft, because I think it's just seized. Right, now we finally got this blasted thing out. We'll start cleaning up all the parts real good. Ready to go back together and see if it's yeah. Oh, actually I had to order a new part because I broke that one to pieces, but we'll see about it. So if you are unfortunate enough to have to be working on one of these things, I hope to make this as quick as possible and as informative as possible. There's a video I'll link to of a guy putting this exact one back together, but there's a few things that he misses, and I'm gonna go over those. So first of all, getting mine out of the boat was an absolute pain. This flange was absolutely seized to it, and this cap down here was so stuck in there, it was nearly impossible to get out. In fact, here's the old piece. That whole flange broke off. So if that's you, there are some parts out there, hopefully they're still left if you're watching this video. That flange is cast iron. It is likely to break if you pry on it too much, but that was the only way I could get this out, so yeah. Anyways, a few things to note that were not covered in the video, I'll link in the description. If you have to replace this, the worm gear, which is this, I think it's worm gear, has a bushing down in this hole. So let's see if I can get it closer up there. Right there. In here, there's a bushing that goes in there. So if you have to replace this bearing housing, there's a bushing in there you have to get. Also, that bearing can be taken out without breaking it, which is not what I did. There's actually a sleeve that fits in there, and it is probably 1/1000th of a clearance in there. And so this, to me, actually looked like it was a shouldered part of this that was cast in there, but it's not. This whole sleeve pulls out. You can get a little pick in there and pull it out. So this pulls out. Your snap ring is in there, you get your snap ring out, and then you can pull your bearing out, and all those pieces come out without having to beat them out, which is what I did, so don't do that first. This rod, I had a little bit of trouble getting this rod to slide in and out of this smoothly, which is why my tilt unit did not work.
I had a little bit of trouble getting this rod to slide.
Mine was just barely hanging up at the end, but I ended up hitting it, had to go all the way down at 220 to sand a little bit, then some 400, then 1000, then 1200 to get a good polish back on it. I think it had an ever so slight bow in it, but I just sanded it back down, and I think it's gonna work. So we'll put it back together, see if it does work, and if so, then you will see this video on YouTube. So I very carefully and gently tapped that bushing in. It is his press fit, so. So the rest of the rebuild can be found in the link that I'll list below, and that's what I used to follow this whole assembly. I focused on more of the worm gear, which was not covered in the other video. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.